Happy Valentine's Day, man.
Happy Valentine's Day. You got your pink.
I do have my pink on.
What's it say on your shirt?
Black market.
Black
I bought
market.
this guy or I bought this shirt from a guy that sells organs, so he made sure to label it black market.
That would be so scary.
Actually, one time I was buying weed from this dude, uh, and I don't know, he was like sketchy, and I don't know why I was just buying weed from him because weed was legal at the time.
But you're
So
still kind
like
of like sneaking around.
yeah, I just like kind of wanted it to be a little less legal.
Hmm.
So I was buying weed from this dude and we met in like a Vaughn's parking lot. I don't know if Vaughn's is on the East Coast.
I've heard of it.
Um, but yeah, he was just weird the whole time. He gets into my car and he's like, "What's up, man?" I was like, "Hey, how you doing, bro?" And I hand him the money and he hands me the weed and he's like, "All right." And he's about to get out of my car and he goes, "Be safe out there."
No
Like really
way.
he gets like really serious for a second. And I was like, all right, whatever. I later looked on his Snapchat story because that's what I used to get in contact with him.
Yeah.
And in the Vaughn's parking lot, like where he was, after I guess I had drove off, he like popped the trunk of his car and he had weed, mushrooms, guns, and cocaine in his car. And he was like recording it, going tap in. I was like, I'm not buying weed from this guy again.
Yeah, because you don't know if it's lace or like what that guy's got going on. Like his to-do list is probably crazy for the
He was
day.
just weird. Yeah. Well, what kind of errands was that guy running?
Stay safe out there. Like that.
Yeah,
What kind of cartoon ass line is that?
such a weird. He immediately the dynamic immediately was like, oh, I don't like this guy's vibe.
Yeah, I will stay safe, so you can have your weed back. I'm out. Oh my god.
He likes it when I do that to him.
Is he stretching when he does that?
Yeah. Watch. Look at his beans. I don't know if he's gonna do it again.
Oh my god. He's so cute. He has like green eyes too.
Yeah, he does. Um, dude. So today, okay. First of all, I work for a marketing company. I'm a videographer, photographer.
Hmm.
So a lot of our clients are retainer clients. So basically, what that means is that they pay us like month by month, and they tell us when they have events or something going on, so we could go out and capture stuff to promote it on their social medias and stuff.
Hmm.
So today, a client told us, well, yesterday, a client told us, "Hey, tomorrow we're going to be at a trade show. Can you send somebody out here to capture some of our equipment that we're trying to sell?" So I'm there today and I'm just like working, getting some shots. And this is like an agriculture trade show.
Hmm.
And out of the corner of my eye, I see this guy that I was really, really good friends with in high school. And like sort of like we just kind of grew apart.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm not gonna say his real name,
Right, Jerry.
but I was like, "Jerry, what's going on, man?" And he like turns and he looks at me and he goes, "Oh my god, Cam, what's going on, man? Good to see you." I was like, "Good to see you. How you doing?" We're just chopping it up a little bit, and like,
Hmm.
so I'm looking at the monitor on my camera, and I'm getting something, and he's like still looking at me or talking to me, and he goes, or I just go, "So what's going on, man? What's new? How's the wife?" And without missing a beat, he goes, "Divorced." And I didn't have a chance to catch it before it came out of my mouth. But I go, "How's the wife, man?" And he goes, "Divorced." And I go, "Oh,"
You
which
said
is not a good response
you just
to,
went, oh,
yeah, just like, "Ooh,
ooh.
tough,
What if you were
tough
just
one,
on?
Jer."
What if you're just like on autopilot and you're like, dude, that's great to hear. All right, man, see ya.
Yeah,
And then you're
fantastic.
walking back and you're like,
Yeah.
ah. Have you ever done that? Have you ever like walked?
There was one time I was at a party and I was just like probably a little too stoned, and I walked up to two very very pretty girls,
Mm,
and it was like an out of body experience where I was like watching myself just yapping,
hmm.
and I was just like, "What are you doing?"
Oh no.
Fumbling.
It's so funny though, because like when you're younger, every moment's so precious. Like you overthink everything so hard.
Oh, totally.
And when you get older, you're just like, dude, nobody judges you, nobody cares. Like, I've seen people at the gym like just straight up trip in front of me. There was one time I was at the gym, I was on the treadmill and I go to look at my phone, and next thing I know, I'm on the ground. And there's like a row of people on the ellipticals behind me, and I was just
Uh-huh.
like, "What do you get?
Whatever.
What can you do?" And I just finished
Yeah.
my workout. But I was
I
like,
gotta finish legs, you know?
"Yeah, I legitimately felt like Bugs Bunny. Like, it's so crazy how gravity works, where it just humbles you so quick sometimes."
Have do you approach women in the gym? We talked
No,
about this a little bit.
yeah, not really. Honestly, because every sign or any bit of like information I've consumed on the internet, it's basically like stop signs. It's like, do not. You ever see that TikTok template where it's like, do not speak to a woman or speak to a girl, and then it cuts to some guy playing video games and it's a montage, and it's
Yeah.
like, all right, bet.
Got it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's basically the gym meme where it's just like, never approach women. I mean, if anything, I'll like ask them if they're using a machine, and if it turns into something, if I see them multiple times, maybe I'll say something. But
Yeah.
I feel like I just don't want to bother anybody because when I go to the gym, I'm just focused. You know?
Yeah.
What about
Um,
you?
I used to have like sort of a rule of just like, just don't be like, well, I still have this rule. Just like be nice and don't be like,
Right?
don't make anybody uncomfortable. Don't be weird. I
Yeah.
try to follow that. And honestly, man, the reality is sometimes just like through daily human interactions, you're gonna maybe make somebody feel weird. And then you just kind of just have to be real about it and be like, sorry, and then
Hmm.
try not to do it again.
Yeah, because you don't
Um,
know this person. Like, you don't know like their social level. Like,
and
they
their
might
perception of weird.
exactly. Yeah.
But like I think if you're gonna be if I think if you're gonna approach a woman in the gym, this was okay, this is my template. If I was gonna approach a
Yeah.
woman in the gym, and I'm gonna tell you right out the gate, this is like a 2 week plan.
Oh yeah. It takes time.
Yeah, because at first you just gotta establish, hey, I'm not a threat here.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
sometimes you just gotta kind of go out of your way to be like, hey man, I like to go up to women and be like, I'm not gonna hurt you.
Yeah, especially after the workout, you chase them to their car.
Yeah, you wanna run them
Hey,
down in the
hey,
parking lot.
hey, hey, I'm
"Excuse
safe. I'm
me,
safe.
miss, I'm not gonna hurt you."
Can you unlock
No.
your door? Yeah, yeah.
No, really though, like, you do kinda have to be you kinda have to try and just, like the way I would do it is just, like, give them a smile, and if they reciprocate,
Yeah.
then cool, but, like, if I give you a smile, that's for me is like, okay, in 2 weeks, if we're still doing this, I will talk to you. You know
you
what I mean?
you smile, they smile back, and they show them a timer of 2 weeks and
Yeah,
hours.
yeah.
Like,
I
hey,
immediately hit my stopwatch.
yeah, you make an event on your calendar.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
Talk to pretty girl in gym.
honestly, I think what you said is honestly a real thing. You have to show somebody. I think that here's the biggest thing that I've learned, and I'm not trying to be like the dude that's trying to tell anybody how to talk to women. You kind of
Uh-huh.
learn through your own experience, but I think making someone feel safe is probably your best bet in any interaction with women. Like,
Yeah.
if you want to be friends, if you want to pursue them, whatever, and especially at the gym, you if you see someone like you said, you show like that you're friendly, and I think you just give people space because a lot of like
Totally.
the gym videos where it's like how do you pick up women, and it's like a dude straight up just walking towards first time he's ever seen her. It's just like
Mhm.
you're basically flipping a coin right at this point. Like, and the coin has like say it has like 100 sides, and you have like two yeses on that, and 98 of them are no. And a lot of the yes is
It's a
based
weird
on
coin.
it is a weird coin with a lot
More
of
of a
different
dice,
sides.
really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But basically you're just like you're betting on so many factors that you don't even know cuz like their perception of weird or like who you are is different than what you think you are or who you know you are.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I would let it cook, be chill. If you happen to run into each other, and it's like most of the time, if someone's interested at the gym, they'll just ask you, "Hey, could you help me with this? Hey, could you spot me? Hey, could you? Are you
I
using this
didn't know that
machine?"
was a move either.
It's just
Somebody
like I don't know. I wouldn't even say it's a move. It's just like a way to establish, "Hey, I see you at the gym. You're familiar." That's the first
yeah,
step. You know?
somebody ran that move on me actually,
Really? How did it
and
go?
I didn't realize what she was doing.
I mean, it could have been a move. It could have just been like a, "Hey, I actually need help."
That's a strong possibility. Also, to finish that last thought, that previous thought, I do think it's important also to be willing to take no for an answer. Like if
Oh
a
yeah.
girl is giving you like, "Hey, I don't want to talk to you" vibes, dude, just like go away.
Yeah, it's not a game. Like you don't have to win. Like, you know what I mean? Like everyone thinks of it as like a game. Like I have to
Uh-huh.
get the yes. It's like
Yeah.
it's they get to decide. Like I know it's
Yeah.
crazy, but they get to decide whether they're
That's
interested.
that's true.
What were you
Anyway,
saying? Yeah, yeah.
but yeah, a girl ran that play on me. I was like in the gym and uh, I was using I was doing like rows, right?
Yeah.
The cable rows.
Mhm.
And I got off it and she comes up to me and I'm like in the process of wiping it down. And she asked me, like, "Hey, are you using this?" And I was like, "No, go ahead." And I walked away. And I walked pretty far away. And
Mhm.
it's a pretty busy gym, and
Mhm.
there's a lot of other guys in the vicinity, and she walks back up to me, and she asked me like, "Hey, can you show me how to use this machine?"
Oh, that's nice.
W Which in my head, I'm just like, "Oh, yeah, she just needs help seeing this like, using this machine, whatever."
Mhm.
But, like, after that, she had come back up to me, like, over the course of, like, a couple of weeks at this point. She's, like, come back up to me and, like, talked to me several times, and looking back, she probably knew how to use that fucking machine.
Yeah. And I mean,
You know what I
there's
mean?
usually an instruction, like it's a picture instruction on the
Yeah.
machine is like, do this, do that. So if you're
Yeah.
asking somebody, I don't know, you're finding a reason to talk to someone.
Yeah.
But
Sometimes
yeah.
I I feel like a lot of women have had the experience of like a guy just not getting the signs they're dropping.
Oh yeah. I've been one of those guys for a long
I feel
time.
like I've definitely been that guy more than I know. And I
Yeah.
really want to know like what signs was I missing?
But I think it's good to be that guy because I would rather be that guy than be the guy that doesn't get the signs when there's a no when it's a
Oh
no. He's
yeah.
like, dude, she's totally into me, and it's like, no, man, she's blocked you. Like,
Yeah.
it's not gonna
She wants
happen.
me to come to her house, dude. How else am I supposed to interpret her blocking me on everything?
Yeah, so I think it's good to be that, and I don't know. I think also if you're somebody that's going to the gym, it's good to just be a part of the community because like you already have something in common with these people, guy, girl, whoever. Like no matter who the person is, it's just good to have kind of like a little bit of a community. Be like, hey, it's good to see you. You
Yeah,
know,
that's true.
what do you?
That's actually a really big thing too. Like, be willing to talk to people, man.
Mm-hmm. I was really bad about that for a long time. I would just be in my zone. I would walk in. I still kind of do this. I'll walk in with my headphones, and my headphones don't come off until I leave.
Uh huh.
So I would just
I'm
totally
pretty
be in my zone.
similar. I'm pretty
Yeah.
similar, but like, if there's people, because I've been going to the gym for like a year and a half at this point,
Mhm.
and you run into the same people. Like,
You
you
do.
go if you're especially if you're going at the same time.
Yeah.
Um, and at this point, like I'm running into people, and every time I see them, it's like one of these, like, "Hey, what's up, man? Good to see
Yeah.
you."
Yeah. And it's just nice to like have that interaction. But the
Yeah.
weirdest thing is I'll go to the gym, like I've been going to my gym for a while now, like years and years. And it's so funny to me that I'll see somebody that I've never seen. And it's like I go at the same time. Most of the time I'll be at like a similar schedule and I'll see somebody who I've never seen. I'm like, how did you get here? It's almost like they're an alien because it's
Yeah.
like, how have I never seen you? And then I'll never see him again. So it's like maybe they flew in, but it's just that's always the weirdest thing to me because you're so used to seeing like, all right, yeah, this guy comes in at this time, he does these
Yeah.
workouts. And then someone new comes in, you're like, whoa, it's almost like they're coming into your home gym. It's kind of weird at first, like seeing a new face.
What's like the What's like the fastest way to like get a reputation at your gym.
What kind of reputation you looking for?
Yeah, yeah. Let's do this both ways. What's the
Okay.
fastest way to get a good reputation and a bad reputation? Not the kind of reputation that like gets you on put on like a list
Yeah.
or like gets you kicked out of the gym, but
Yeah.
like people are like, I don't really fuck with that guy.
The
I feel
best
like
yeah, yeah.
really like my instinct right off the bat being too loud.
Oh, yeah, for bad
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Being too
or good?
loud.
I love this
Yeah.
gym! That guy's great, man, he just
Yeah.
loves it.
Dude, it's crazy. He's just doing jumping jacks. I don't know why he came here to do.
He's
He
so
could have done those
happy.
at home.
He
He likes it here, I guess.
he listens to the gym music.
Yeah, that's psycho, dude.
Yeah.
That guy's a serial killer, actually.
Nothing will ruin my day more than forgetting my headphones. Like, I'll drive all the way back home, even if it's a 20-minute
Yeah,
drive.
100%. I would 100%. Dude, one time I went to the gym, I slammed some pre-workout. This was like before I was on the no stim pre-workout wave, which if you have not gotten on that wave, I'm telling you, it is so superior.
No
But
stim?
no stim pre-workout is 100% superior to stim pre-workout because I don't need the energy of the pre-workout.
Yeah.
I like the like pump product because that's going to help you get like a better get a better workout. You
Yeah,
know what I
yeah.
mean?
I've never used pre-workout though, so I don't even know what you're talking about.
Pre-workout just makes me like jitter, like it makes me feel like someone's
Oh,
after me, man.
like the insane amount of caffeine. So
Yeah.
what's the
Or I
difference with
don't
no
even
stim?
there's no caffeine.
So what is it? It's just like
It's
it's Crystal Light? Like, what
yeah,
is it?
yeah. It's just a little delight. It's just like a tasty treat, man.
Dude, I've been slamming Crystal Light before my chest days. Like,
I
what?
just eat a bunch of fucking Mio pomegranate pods.
Just raw dog and Mios.
Yeah. Dude, did you see that TikTok a while back of those guys going to like a dive bar and they're just getting like vodka sodas because it's like the cheapest drink you could get at a dive bar, and they're
Uh-huh.
just bringing Mios and just putting them in
Dude.
there and just getting free like cocktails, not free,
That
but like cheap cocktails.
dude, I've thought about doing that with like a restaurant, bringing like my own like Mio or something. Am I a psycho for that? Like,
I feel
because
like you're definitely gonna get a look from your waiter, just like,
but
"Oh."
like, here's my problem is that no restaurant offers like sugar-free tasty drinks. It's like pure soda, pure
Yeah,
sugar lemonade, and it's like I don't want to just drink water. Like when I'm at home, I'm drinking a Mio Crystal Light, or if I'm going
uh-huh,
to the gym, I'm pre-working Crystal Light. But
yeah.
if I'm at a restaurant, I don't know. Is that weird?
I feel like I don't know. I don't have that problem because I'm in California and every fucking restaurant has like
Gluten-free water.
gluten-free water with
Yeah.
kombucha in it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. In an
But I
application to like a Michael Bay movie or something.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Every time you sit down at a restaurant, you have to submit a headshot.
Yeah. There's a guy in like a ominous like outfit and he's telling you to stay safe out there and you're like I
Yeah.
just came for a chicken wrap.
Yeah,
Like
man. This is McDonald's. Like, what are we doing
yeah.
here?
When's the last time you had McDonald's?
It's definitely been like at least 8 months. But I'm not, but now it's a choice because they're like weird about politics.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, like, well, I mean, every corporation is, but
True.
like, there's like a BDS movement uh to like telling people like don't eat at McDonald's and Starbucks. Starbucks is
Oh,
the
I've
other
heard
one.
about the Starbucks one, not
Yeah,
McDonald's though.
for the same reason.
What fast food do you eat like right now?
In and out. I was actually
Really?
like, I was thinking about going to get some In and Out after this. I love In and Out, dude.
Ooh.
I worked at In and Out for 5 years.
Yeah, that is so wild to me. Like if I'm going through an in and out and I see you, I'm just like, what? That guy doesn't look like he belongs there.
Well, dude, honestly, fuck. I wish I
What?
had one of the hats right
Dude, you
now.
should show up in a full outfit one week for the pod. Full in and out. That'd be amazing.
I don't. Well, I mean, I do have like several In and Out shirts.
That's sick.
Just like the shirts that they sell, because like, um, whenever you're working at In and Out, they just give you like a discount on shirts. Just
On
like
their own merch?
on
Wow.
merch, yeah.
So nice. Like I have to work for you and now I get a discount.
Well, I mean, but like
What are you
you do
subscribed to
get
their Patreon too?
It's a pretty nice shirt. It's a quality shirt, man. I got it while I was still I was working there like fucking I was that was like 5 years ago now, and I still have those shirts.
Dude, it sounds like they brainwash you like they do at Chick-fil-A. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Everybody who works at Chick-fil-A has to get sat down in that a clockwork orange chair.
Dude, have you I mean, dude, every time I go to the first time I went to a Chick-fil-A was only like a couple years ago cuz Michigan.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
dude, it freaks me out.
What do you
Like
mean?
just the workers feel so robotic. Like they all feel like they're related to Zuckerberg. You know what I mean? Like they have that
Oh.
android feel about them.
You know what, man? I feel like I don't know if this is like a controversial opinion, but I think Chick-fil-A is overrated as fuck.
I got food poisoning. My only time I've ever gotten food poisoning in my life was the first time or second time I had Chick-fil-A, and
What
it
did you order?
I got a grilled chicken sandwich.
That's kind of impressive that
At
you got you got
Chick-fil-A!
it's crazy that you got food poisoning off the blandest thing at them on the menu, dude.
Like just fillet it. That's the name. And then
It's go ahead.
the worst part about that food poisoning day is after that, dude, think about the worst meal you could ever have like from food poisoning because obviously you're getting sick so you're tasting it all back up. It's disgusting, right? I had grilled chicken sandwich, spicy, and then
Oh,
after
the spicy makes it worse.
mix that with cookies and cream mint Hershey's bars and a lot of them.
Well, that's why you got sick, man. What do you mean? A lot of them. How many? How many full-size bars?
They were like bite sized. I probably had like enough for a full bar and a half. So like not a
Okay, that's not
not,
that bad.
but it was enough to
I can
like
put that shit away.
yeah, 100 McFlurries, right?
I
But
could I could easily eat 100 bars of the I'm not even
dude,
kidding. I could do
you
that in
could
like
easily be a diabetic, is what you mean. Like,
probably, yeah. If I honestly, if I didn't have sometimes I was telling my roommate this the other day. Sometimes when I like get candy, like
mhm.
specifically like something gummy, I'll just like put it in my mouth and not chew it for a while. Like I'll just like wait as long as I can before I chew it just to like make sure I'm still the one calling the shots. You know what I mean?
What?
Like sometimes I'll put a gummy worm in my mouth and I'll it'll just sit there, and in my head I'm just like, this is a test of my self control.
Dude, who are you? You're proving that to yourself, I
I have to
guess.
prove it to myself because like, dude, sometimes I'll just start eating something I cannot stop until it's gone.
Okay. So you're like it's just a form of self-control.
It's just me making sure I'm still the one in the chair.
Yeah. That's got to be some type of sign of autism. Like that's a strong sign. And I know we're all in the spectrum, right? But
Yeah, yeah.
that is crazy. So like give me an example of like say a snack, you eat it and then like is it gummy bears? Like what's the last time
Any
you did it?
like yesterday,
Okay, what was it?
gummy worms.
It was gummy worms?
Yeah, that's why we were having the conversation. I was telling this to my roommate, and she was
Right.
just like, "Why don't you just not eat them?" And she looked at the bag, and on the way home, the grocery store is 5 minutes away.
Mhm.
On the way home from the grocery store, I got a full size bag. I finished 2/3 of it, and she was
Wow.
like, "Maybe you do need that little self control test."
Yeah, yeah. So you literally put one at a time or you probably no, knowing
I'll do
you,
one.
really? You put one.
If I'm eating them normally, I eat like 5. But if I'm doing this, I'll take 1, I'll
Okay.
place it on my tongue, and I'll just wait. Yeah,
Ah.
I'll just close my mouth around it, and I'll be silent for 15 minutes.
That's like what you do to like shut up a 5-year-old when they're being
Yeah,
annoying. Like,
basically.
just give Danny a gummy worm. Dude, that's
Honestly,
crazy.
it's just like I don't know. Sometimes I get so much like dopamine and satisfaction when it like is like really small because the enzymes in my saliva have like broken it down. I get so much satisfaction from that.
Dude, that sounds so nerdy. Like you said, you enjoy the enzymes and dopamine.
I'm dopamine dependent. Everybody's dopamine dependent at this point, man. Whatever.
Yeah, okay, and then you get two-thirds of the way done with a bag, then what do you think after that? You're like, "Wow, I just ate." Wait, that took 5 minutes to eat two-thirds, but how long does it take each gummy worm?
Well, that's why I have to do it because otherwise I'll finish the whole
Oh.
thing in like 2 seconds.
Okay, so this is a separate, like, scenario.
Well, no, I finished 2/3 and I was like,
Oh,
"Fuck, I
then
gotta
you
slow
did
down.
it.
I gotta pump the brakes."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
So I
crazy.
broke out old reliable.
That's like if you, like, drink so much and then you're like, "I need to, like, kinda level out for the night because I have to drive in 6 hours for work."
Yeah, yeah.
Damn.
Basically, dude, actually, that kind of reminds me. One time, when I was still in high school, like before I really knew like how to navigate weed and like cannabis products,
Mhm.
um, a friend of mine and like there was like three of us, right? And like somebody got a hold of an edible, a brownie with weed in it.
Mhm.
And like this was like before it was even legal in California.
Ooh.
So like if you were getting an edible, it was just like somebody's older brother made it. And
Yeah.
like he just threw all the weed that he had
Yeah.
into like this pan of brownie mix basically.
Yeah.
And it tasted like dirt, but
Mhm.
we ate it because like it's fun.
Mhm.
And so it was like our second or third time eating an edible, and we just ate way too much, and we got super stoned, and it was really really fun that night. But the next morning, we all three of us had a baseball game.
Oh, no.
It was like the start of our tournament, and we had to get there, be there for warm-ups at 8 a.m. So we get there at 8 a.m. and like we start to warm up and we're throwing the ball. And I throw the ball to the guy I'm playing catch with, and he throws it back to me. And I catch the ball. And there's a second where in my head, the ball's like too close to my face. You know what I mean? Like I catch the ball and my glove snaps back, and it's like, oh shit, that almost hit me. And in that moment, I was like, oh, I'm still stoned.
Oh, no.
And I was just like, you ever have like those moments of like really intense clarity where you're just like, just breathe, man.
Yeah,
You know, you know,
yeah.
nobody knows.
That's the highest thought of all time.
You're
Nobody
gonna be
knows.
cool.
It's the guy that's just like this in the corner.
Yeah, he's just stuck.
Yeah, it's like those old drug commercials where the girl is like melted to the couch. Do you remember
Yeah,
those?
I do. I do. I honestly, looking back at those commercials, I would like to be that stoned.
Yeah, it's like where'd they get their stuff?
Yeah,
Like,
that sounds awesome.
yeah.
Let's just order a pizza and spend the afternoon like that.
It's probably the guy that you met in the parking lot. He probably
Yeah,
had that,
honestly.
whatever that was.
Th this is called the rolling pin.
Yeah, he pulls up like an iPad. He's like, "You see this commercial? I have that." Dude.
Uh,
Wait, so you end up playing the game? Or was it
yeah,
just practice?
by the time well, we got there at 8 o'clock for
At 8,
warm-ups, and
yeah.
the game started at 9. So by the
Okay.
time 9 rolled around, because we were running around and because it was already like 8 hours after we took it,
Mhm.
like we were fine.
Did you sleep that night?
Yeah.
Like, a couple
Yeah,
hours or
like
whatever?
we went to we slept for like 6 hours.
Mhm. So you can sweat out a high, like, faster than if you just chilled?
Probably. I mean, I'm not no scientist,
Yeah, yeah.
but I don't know, probably.
Yeah, I mean, you said the word enzyme, so I was like, I might as well ask him. He knows more than me.
Yeah.
Dude, I wish I had, like, a crazy story like that. I just did I never did anything. Like, I had one time where this girl I think I told you this story, but this girl brought in brownies to
Mhm.
first hour or whatever, and it was, like, one of those
Oh,
classes.
yeah.
Yeah, it was one of those classes where, like, nobody cared. It was, like, some type of business class that you would take. Like, it truly like, everyone loved the teacher because 'cause you'd give everyone an A. So, like, we go in
Yeah.
there and it's just talk we just chill and talk the whole time.
Yeah.
So she brings in, like, 5 or 6 brownies, and I'm chill with her.
Damn, that's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, she probably brought enough for, like, a friend group. Right? But I'm sitting next to her, and they're, like, wrapped in the Saran wrap or whatever, and I'm like, "Oh, you got brownies? Like, dude, those are some of my favorite snacks." She's like, "Oh, yeah, you can have one." I was like, "Dude, I'll have 3."
That's shitty of her that she didn't wait, did she tell you?
I don't think so.
That's fucked up.
I think that she assumed that I knew. because of who she was.
Oh.
So
Oh,
it's
that's kinda wild.
yeah. She was known for being like one of the biggest like potheads in the school or whatever. So I kind of should have known. I wasn't even really mad at her. Um, but yeah,
Right,
I had
because
to
you were too stoned.
yeah, I had like 3 and we had
Holy
like
shit.
yeah, we had
That's too
like
much.
it is. They probably weren't that like crazy like dose or whatever. But we had like a school play, like an orchestra that day or whatever. And I just remember watching it and just dying laughing. It's like that's nothing's funny about music in that sense. And then the next class, I had like environmental science or something. And I told a couple of the kids in the class, like, yo, I had some brownies from Jess. And they were like, how many do you have? I was like, 3. I was like, I really like
That's too
brownies
much.
though. They're like,
That's
yeah,
crazy.
you are out of your mind. Like,
Yeah.
and I was that's when it hit because I didn't know that they were until they told me.
Uh-huh.
And I was
Oh, and
like,
then that's when you felt it? That's like when you were like, "Oh, that's why I can't feel the back of my head."
yeah, everything clicked. Like throughout the day, all my memories. It was like the moment when you die and all your memories run through. It
Yeah.
was like that, but I was
It's
like,
like when Neo
oh,
came out of the Matrix.
yeah. So I mean, that was like the only story I really had, but it was at school, so I was obviously so scared. I was just like, oh, my life's over.
Kids these days have it so not to be the fucking old man, but kids these days have it so easy. Like edibles literally like you buy some edibles today and it tells you each of these has 10 milligrams of THC. It's so much easier to get a dosage right. Back in my day, you used to just eat a brownie
Yeah, it
that
was
some
like
older brother made.
it's like mystery flavor, but it's dosage. Like
Yeah, yeah.
like a mystery airhead, but it affects your whole day.
Have you seen those restaurants and stuff that like they like infuse weed into like the actual meal?
Really? No.
Yeah. Honestly, seems like too much.
Trying too
You're
hard.
doing yeah, you're doing way too much, man.
Like, did you
You're doing
just
way
you pull out
I
your booster
accident
seat?
I did by mistake.
What if you were
You're
5'2"
doing
this whole time? I didn't know.
yeah, I took off my shoes. I lose like a solid 6 inches like Ron DeSantis.
Dude, have you seen those shoes that literally make you like 4 inches taller as a dude? They're literally made for dudes.
That's gender affirming care.
I remember, I think Cody Ko talked about him, and he said he went out to the club and danced all night, and then his back was killing him the next day. So it's just like five
Like a
years from
girl
now.
in like a
Yeah.
girl in heels.
There's gonna be like a massive lawsuit in like 5 years. It's gonna be like a commercial. It's like, were you affected from this year to this year? Like
Dude, it's gonna
ibuprofen or
be
whatever.
it's gonna be exactly like you know how like have you ever been out with like a group of girls and like at the beginning of the night everybody's like all excited and all cute and then by
Mhm.
the end of the night they're walking barefoot holding their shoes.
Yeah.
That's gonna be the dudes wearing those
Yeah,
shoes, man. They're gonna
they're
be they're just like so fucked up carrying like a pair of Converse, but there's a giant platform.
yeah. Dude, nothing's more embarrassing than walking in your socks in the public. You know what I mean? It's like,
You
why?
step in a puddle, you're like, fuck.
Oh, dude. That is the
You know,
worst.
you know what's I you know what else is so embarrassing? Have you ever ridden like a skateboard or like a longboard or anything like that?
Uh, in a garage and in a controlled environment, and I instantly knew this is not for me. Like,
I used to ride a penny board when I was in high school, like all the time. And
yeah.
like even now I'll still ride like a longboard, like just to get some sun.
Mhm.
And oh my god, I'm so California.
You
And
really are. They're like, this is only the second episode, and you are just so Californian.
I'm very California today.
Yeah.
Um, but one time I was riding my penny board and I was riding down like a very busy street. I grew up in a really small town
Mhm.
and I was going down like the main street that like
Mhm.
everybody would drive through. And I'm going down and there's like a bunch of cracks in the sidewalk because the trees growing by. And I'm on my penny board and driving past me is a car full of girls that I go to high school with, and
Ooh.
one girl who, like, I thought was really, really cute is in there, and, like, they see me and they wave at me, right? So
Mhm.
I so direct eye contact, and I wave back, and in like
Oh,
the
no.
second I put my hand up, I like hit like a crack in the sidewalk, and the payboard stops, and I go 4 further feet like I'm Wile E. Coyote, and
Mhm.
then I just eat it, dude, and they just
Dude,
drive off.
can you imagine from their point of view, though? Like, I would be laughing so hard.
Yeah.
Like, there's
Yeah,
just certain
probably.
moments. I feel like it's way funnier, too, if, say, like, an older dude falls than, like I've seen
That's how old are we talking?
it depends
Like
how old you
90?
are, though. No, 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 not like Joe Biden.
Like watching an old man fall down, that shit's hilarious.
It's so funny to not help them.
Yeah. You push him a little bit to just make
Yeah.
it happen faster
Take
because
his
they fall
cane.
too slow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what I was saying is like, I don't know. I there was one time I was in the car with my dad and we were I think I was actually with my friend and we were taking a left. And on this hill, it's like the steepest hill in the city. And this girl, I don't know how old she is. She was younger though, like anywhere from 10 to 12ish probably. She was like riding down the
How
sidewalk.
old are you at this time?
I was probably right out of high school, so like 18ish to
18,
20.
19.
Yeah. So she's going down this super steep hill on the sidewalk. We're going down it, driving it. We see her. We wait for her to cross because obviously we're not gonna just like smash into somebody, unless it's worth a lot of points. But I don't even know what she does, but she tries to like turn and basically the same thing in your story where like the motion doesn't stop, but the object stops like the bike. So
Yeah, yeah.
so the rock or the curb stops her bike. She falls over, and we were just like, "Oh no!" Like we stopped, we rolled down the window. We're like, "Are you okay?" She's like, "Yeah," but I felt so bad. But if it's like a dude, it'd be like, and you're friends with him. You know what I
Oh.
mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's just such a different scenario.
Oh man, if dude, honestly, if my best friend lost his arm, my first reaction is to laugh at him.
Which arm? I'm just kidding. Like it matters.
If he's like in some sort of tragic sword fighting accident where he his his arm gets sliced off by like Darth Vader,
Yeah, yeah.
then my first reaction is just to laugh.
Before you
Why
help
is it
them.
so funny to see your friends get hurt?
Because you know how dumb they are, so they probably deserved it.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
dude, I'm trying to think if there's like a time where one time that I got really embarrassed or like an embarrassing thing happened was I was at lunch one time and I was eating nachos. Because you know how in high school you would have like your own day? Like burgers would be Tuesdays or whatever, Taco Tuesday, Burger Thursday, Nacho Wednesday was what we had.
Uh-huh.
So I would get nachos all the time and they would just load you up with cheese. So I'm at the lunch table and the lunch trays that we have are made out of styrofoam. They're super cheap, probably cost like less than a penny. And I'm eating out of them. And I think like the person in front of me and me were like just being dumb, like being in high school. And I like slam my fist down and it hits my lunch tray. And I just started eating the nachos. So 90% of the cheese is left. Boom! All over. And I was wearing like a polo, like khaki shorts. And there's so much that I don't even scrape it off. I just carry it. I carry
Yeah.
the cheese
Yeah.
throughout high
Classic.
school and I'm passing people just like, hey, like just carrying cheese. And luckily I was able to change, but like, dude, nothing's worse than just having like a half a pound of cheese on your shirt.
Mhm.
Like, of all liquids.
Is cheese a liquid?
I mean, that cheese probably was
Liquid. Yeah, oh,
liquidish.
yeah, like the kind of cheese that, like, comes out, like, bright yellow out of a can.
Yeah, like
Like,
it's like a
you have
goofy
to, like,
movie
use it.
cheese.
Yeah, 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 exactly.
Have you ever had Cheese Whiz before?
Yes, it tastes how it looks.
Oh, it just feels like
You
you're
know what I
I don't
mean?
know. Yeah.
It feels like
I shouldn't be doing this.
sometimes yeah, like, it feels like you eat it and you're like, "This came out of a cow? What do you
There's no
mean?
way.
What do you mean?"
There's no way. Did you ever eat Play-Doh as a kid?
I don't think I was that kind of kid.
or glue?
No, I was mostly eating food.
Yeah,
Yeah,
same.
pretty much. Almost exclusively, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, what even happens when you're eating like, what happens to your brain? That's gotta affect the body so negatively.
You know how boomers had like lead in their gasoline and in the paint, and it like now we look back and you're like, what the fuck were we doing to those kids?
Yeah,
That's why
yeah.
they're so angry.
Yeah, yeah.
That's Gen Z is gonna like 50 years from now, people are gonna be like, I can't believe they were letting Gen Z play with Play-Doh,
Yeah. Or
you
like
know?
slime. Remember how
Or slime.
slime
Oh my god, that's such a good example. I can't believe all the borax they were ingesting.
and then, like, they would put, like, random beads and, like, just anything
Yeah.
you could find that would roll into it, like, anything.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised if there was like, an SUV in there.
Yeah.
Like, they would put anything. I never made slime because it was a little bit after my time, but it
Yeah.
looked pretty fun as a kid. Like, just get messy.
I don't know, but I think kids just like feeling and touch because like when you're young, so much of the world is still new to experience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like that's why like now as an adult, the things you enjoy eating are like way different than the things you were eating when you were a kid.
Yeah, I used to
Bec-
never understand why adults didn't eat fast food when I was younger. I was like, "Why don't you eat Taco Bell? It's delicious."
yeah.
You know?
Because you're like once you go through this point of your life, so many of your taste buds have died, and like you have to just deal with the shit it does to your body.
Yeah.
Like it's just not worth the trade off.
Like the number one moment that I had where I realized that I was like growing up was I could read all of the signs going down the road and I understood what they were. Like, oh, that's a realtor. Oh, that's insurance. Oh, that's a business. When I was a
Yeah.
kid, everything was blurry. Like it didn't mean anything. It might as well have been a different language.
Uh huh.
You know what I mean? So like growing up is really weird to have that realization of like, oh, I understand all this. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm getting older. Like,
That's an interesting.
did you go through that?
I don't know if I can't really remember what it was like being a kid, to be honest. I have like bits and pieces, but like only super vague. And I feel like my consciousness goes back like 6 years max, like
Do
at
you,
any point.
do you think that's good that we forget a lot of our memories like being younger? Because what if you were just using all of your time thinking about very specific periods of your life? Would that be good or bad? Like, would you be wasting the present? You know what I mean?
Hmm. I definitely think that like you probably bury some of it for like your own sanity.
Mm-hmm.
Like you like the brain wants to like insulate itself against things it doesn't want to remember.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I think in some ways it's probably good, but I don't know, man. Like think about all of the like most beautiful things you've ever experienced, and like fuck, you've lost some of that just to time.
Mm-hmm.
Like some of those memories you've just lost to time.
You want to know the saddest moments I've had in my life?
What a turn!
It's
What
not.
a
It's not dark. It's
turn!
not dark.
Okay, all right.
But this relates to it. Some of the saddest moments I've ever had in my life were when I was on a date or hanging out with somebody that I was dating or I really liked. In the middle of that date, I would realize like, damn, this moment's gonna end. That is the worst feeling to like
Yeah,
accept that. I hated that.
but that also. I feel like that's something that you have to learn to deal with maturity. You know,
Hmm.
like the older you get, the more you kind of have to be like, this is going to end, therefore I need to enjoy it.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a hard. That's like easier said than done.
Oh
101.
yeah, totally. I feel like that's something that like you're always going to have to work at, like no
Yeah,
matter your age.
I think it gets easier sometimes when you just like don't even. It's out of sight, out of mind type of thing. You know what I mean? I think when you're too self-aware and too conscious of just life or like the bigger picture,
Oh,
it gets
yeah, yeah, yeah,
so sad.
totally.
Like those are the times where I will like it has nothing to do with anyone else, but it's like a solo cry
Uh
where you
huh.
just get so deep in that thought of just like you're just like, "Oh, dude. I just want
Uh
to
huh.
like play Fortnite and die by getting cranked on or something."
I used to getting cranked. I used to like be. I used to like value over intellectualizing
Yep,
the
same.
like the human experience, like the things I was feeling, and I
Yeah.
would I would think I was smarter or like more mature because I could be able to just like reduce it down to like the most pedantic and like most intellectual
Mhm.
aspect of it. And like as I've gotten older, I've learned like there is so much more value in being able to just like, you know what? No, I'm not gonna like make this something I'm thinking about so hard in my head and just gonna let like, for lack of a better term, just like let my heart feel.
Dude, have you met somebody that's like that all the time? Like, they're just always in the moment, they're always, like, excited about everything, and you're just like, "Oh my god," like, they get it. Because
I don't know. I don't know if I don't even know if that person exists, to be
really?
honest.
I've met 2 people or 3 people like that, that I could
I'm
think in my
sure
head.
I want to hear what your experience with them was first.
Well, basically, it was like I was in the same headspace as you, where I was like, "Oh, I'm not an NPC because I get it. Like, I get life and I get the unimportance of a lot of things that people value in terms of like drama or like
Yeah,
stupid."
yeah.
So I almost thought I figured it out, which
Uh-huh.
in a sense you kind of have because you understand.
That's
What
sorry,
you're
go
saying?
ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, like, in a sense, you kind of like you feel like you get it, but then there's this balance of just like this other person that's just fully in the moment. And you don't even know if they think about the same stuff that you think about, but they're so in the moment, it doesn't matter. If you're enjoying what's happening right now, like that is the human experience. We don't ever experience what's coming or what has happened. So if you're always in the present and you're always just like fully feeling
Yeah,
emotions and everything, you're like, "Oh, that person,
yeah.
like I envy them because they get it. I thought I
Mhm.
got it, but they get it." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's that
I
balance.
it's sort of the arrogance of, and I know I'm 26 saying this, so like there's still definitely going to be some of this in me, and probably continue to be some of this in me, but it's like the arrogance of being young, um
Mhm.
where you're just, I know better. You know, I know more than people give me credit for, which I think we like, especially now, younger people know more than they get credit for.
Mhm.
But I know more than I give credit for. In fact, I know more than the people who supposedly know better than me. And I have this figured out. I see through this. I see through the bullshit.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a pretty dangerous mindset to get stuck in,
Mhm.
because it like, dude, you could be so miserable if you're living your life like that. Like, go outside, go pet a cat,
Mhm.
you know, go eat go eat a brownie.
It made me laugh because or when we started talking about this because just like in the last episode, it goes from like so silly and non-serious to like how do we die? Like it's
That's
just so
how
funny.
yeah, man.
But
Also, that's another thing though, like about
yeah,
how it's so interesting to see how conversations like unfold.
right. When you naturally let them go too.
I don't know what you said that just reminded me of this, but do you want to hear a fun fact?
Yes.
One of the theories of why human beings have consciousness and other animals do not have the same level of consciousness, or at least don't demonstrate the same level of consciousness,
Mhm.
is that our self-awareness is a consequence of language. So like once you are able, like, think of
Oh,
this sentence. Like in your head, you could hear this sentence,
yeah.
right? So as soon as you have that ability, that is when your brain can sort of recognize itself,
Right.
because language gives you like that level of consciousness. That, at least that's like a theory to my understanding.
That
And I
makes
could definitely
sense.
be wrong about this because it's based off an article that I read like a year ago and sort of half remember.
I love that. I love my facts like that.
Yeah, just some guy spewing something that he thinks he heard.
I read this on the back of a fortune cookie, but trust me. But like, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, communication, and
Because
reckon
that's
like
really the only thing that like differentiates human beings from any other like
mhm,
animal.
yeah. Well, because it allows for so many different things. Just how like math allows you to understand why gravity works or why space and light works. Like it's
Hmm.
having a language to communicate it with other people, fact check it, have theories, and then yeah, it is really bizarre. I
That's
mean,
the thing that like really blows my mind is that like the way we can like exchange information is so much faster than any other animal. Like if another animal wanted to like eat a fruit, it just has to eat it and see if it dies. But like
yeah,
I could just be like, are these bear? I could just go on Google and be like, can I eat these berries?
yeah. Take a picture of it,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
send it
Just
to Doctor
Google
Phil.
AI or whatever and
Ask
give
Chat
all of my
GPT.
data. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that is. I mean, I was reading this book. It's called like Everything You Need to Know. It's this one, the greatest book I've ever bought. It's called The Knowledge Book.
God damn, that is a big ass book.
It's basically goes through all time and a lot of different inventions and just I don't know. But it talks about language in one of the chapters, and it says that the way that language was created was right after they started organizing like hunting because they needed a way to warn people of the predators or the animals and they needed a way to like organize their attack, which
Yeah.
is kind of crazy that I mean cuz it makes sense like why else would you develop something especially in the beginning of time if it didn't help survival cuz survival was the only goal.
That's what like dude, I used to be very like cynical in this regard of like the question, follow me cuz this is going to come back to this point.
Okay.
The question of like are human beings inherently good or evil? I used to be pretty cynical and be like most people are capable, everybody's capable of both, but humanity as a whole probably leans more to the evil just because people
Selfish.
tend to be selfish,
Yeah.
right? That used to be my perspective. But I have sort of shifted my perspective because, like, even in that example, the first thing we used language for was to help take care of each other, was to
Mm.
collaborate so that we as a collective could live better.
Mhm.
And, like, I think take away the incentives of like class and money, and human
Right.
beings really do just want to take care of one another.
Yeah, like community is such a big part of of history. Like
Yeah.
community is how so many different just I mean community is what also started like greed in a way because there started becoming because community built resources or agriculture that then gave value and then
Mhm.
it started yeah, that's when the human that's when I get your cynical view of yeah, human mankind being evil because the greed and the power and the class came into play, and that's when everything just, here we are.
The first guy who, like, put a fence up and, like, was
Oh,
like,
what a
"This is
dick!
mine," that guy fucked up all of society.
Yeah, the rest of
I'm not
time.
even kidding. The first guy who, like, put up a fence and was like, "This right here belongs to me. You guys have to pay me to get in." That guy fucking domino effect, and now I have to pay rent.
Yeah, thousands of years later.
Yeah. It's funny how the dominoes fall. Like, but I don't know, man. There's a lot of like crazy like historical domino effects
Yeah,
because
yeah.
like you don't see how the dots connect when you're like looking forward. You can only
Mhm.
look back and be like, damn, I cannot believe that happened as a consequence of that.
When you like see even say like one single domino effect, it's like mind blowing. You're like, how have we made it this far as a
Uh huh.
species, or like how did people even get to come to an agreement, or how's everybody alive? You know, that's in like
And just like agreeing to be cool.
yeah, like how's everyone so chill, even though they're not. Like when you look at
Yeah.
it, like,
On like a large scale society level, I don't think people are being super chill right now. But
no,
like,
no.
I don't know, sometimes, like, I'm out I'm going out to a bar tomorrow
Mhm.
because there's, like, a bunch of local, bands playing, And I'm so excited because I love going out to like a public place where like everyone's enjoying something
Yeah.
collectively.
Yeah.
That's like sometimes I'll just look around that room and just be like, it's so cool that we're all just like being chill right now. Like we're
Yeah.
all just like if I accidentally bump into somebody, I can just be like, sorry, man. And he's like, no problem.
Yeah.
You know?
Guess you have something in common. It's like we're already friends
Yeah.
in a
Like
way.
we're already enjoying something together.
Yeah. What's the
So
what's
kiss me.
so kiss me right now during this guitar
Yeah.
riff.
That's
I was gonna ask you, have you ever read a smut book?
my roommate recommended this fairy smut book. It's like a really popular one.
Which one? I might have heard of it.
The A Court of Thorns and Roses.
I think I might have heard of that one.
I'm currently reading that. If you guys are reading it, of the girlies, apparently this is pretty popular book with the girlies.
Okay.
Um, so I'm reading that one, and I'm like probably 2/3 of the way through, and it's not like crazy smut, but there's definitely it's getting pretty spicy.
Mhm. Do you see the
It's just
appeal?
like the writing is not as great as I was expecting because I read a lot of really good books in the past couple of months. So, but it's really interesting. Like the magic system's really interesting.
Mhm.
I do see the appeal of this book, and I personally like romance if
Mhm.
it's done well, or like even like smutty books. I do think like I like reading those things
Mhm.
because one of like my favorite sex scenes in a book I've ever read was is in Flowers for Algernon.
Mhm.
I think I told you about this book,
Mhm.
but there's a point in the book where, and minor spoilers, I guess, for Flowers for Algernon. There's a point in the book where he's sleeping with this woman, and he's describing like the birth of the universe, and
Ooh.
like he's not really talking about anything other than her. Like
Yeah.
he's talking about like a lot of different things, and he's talking about like being with her in this moment and like how profound it is that like he's with her emotionally and physically. And that is like that's one of the most romantic sections of reading I've read in a while.
Mhm. Yeah, because I've heard a lot about it. I've seen it. It's definitely like trending upwards in the past couple of years, at least in my point of view. I've
It's a very popular, it was written in like the 60s, I want to say.
the one that you were talking about.
Yeah, Flowers
Yeah,
for Oh, you're talking about
I was talking about in
the
general, like just the genre of
smut
smut.
books.
Yeah, yeah. Like I've been seeing it more, and I've
Mhm.
been hearing about it more. But it's something I've always like. I don't know. I figured you said you talk about reading and stuff, so I was like, he's got to have read at least one. So I was just like, I might as well ask him.
I used to think that they were sort of cringe, but I don't know, man. Like sexuality is a part of the human experience, and like art is like what else is art for if not to reflect and dissect the human experience? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's. I think it's cool. I think it's cool that there's just like no limit. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's good for people to be just comfortable like writing about what they care about, like even if it's cringe or it's different or it's weird,
Hmm.
because then like the whole point of expression is to express. So
Yeah,
if you're limiting that in any way, you're not showing your full potential. So
yeah.
that's why I was curious about that because I was like, maybe I'll read one of them one day and do a review. That'd be fun. What if we did like a smut book review together?
Read a Court of Roses, Thorns and Roses. Actually,
Thorns and
it's like a
Roses.
fantasy book, but it's like pretty smutty. And apparently, the series it's a pretty long series, I
Hmm.
guess. The series gets pretty like smutty. I don't know if maybe that's
Yeah,
a good or bad format. We
I'll
could
check
talk
it
about
out.
it.
That'd be so funny
Um,
though. Can you imagine two dudes talking about a smut book review?
that would actually be kind of cool.
Yeah,
I will say though, I think that there's like some, I don't know if maybe this is a book talk thing. I feel like some books get popular because they're smutty and they're
yeah,
not very good books.
right.
I don't know if that I can't say for sure because I haven't read a ton of them, but like
Hmm.
there's been a couple of books that like have really popped off on TikTok that I've started reading and I'm like, I just do not get this. I don't get the appeal.
Like a show or a song has like a really good part,
Mhm.
and it gets popular because that thing is so like out of pocket or different. Maybe
I don't
that's
wanna
similar.
I don't wanna, like, shit on, an author, but I'm gonna shit on one of them.
But yeah.
Yeah. I read 2 Colleen Hoover books, and she's very popular
I've
on
heard of her.
TikTok.
Mhm.
I don't get the appeal, man. Like, I read one book where it starts off with this girl basically walking in on her fiance cheating on her. She starts dating a guy because they met through him cheating. So her boyfriend cheating on her.
Okay.
He was cheating on her with this guy's girlfriend. That's how they meet. And
Oh,
the book uh is basically their relationship, but it jumps back and forth between the present day, which is like right after she finds out he's cheating, and and the future, or I guess the present. I don't know.
gotcha.
When they're married. In that book, I read 100 pages. That book fucking sucked. I did not like that book, dude. The main character is so unlikable.
Oh, that's
She's
what
so annoying.
I never understand when like maybe there is a way to do it and I just am not well versed in that like building characters like that, but a lot of the times when I hear complaints about films or books, it's because the main character is like so unlikable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you know what? I do think that there's a lot of instances where like that you could have a main character who's unlikable and still make it work. Flowers for Algernon is actually a pretty good example because like
Okay.
he's he does a lot of really shitty stuff to like a lot of people.
Yeah.
Um, but like I still was rooting for him the whole time. That I could not start rooting for this girl because it felt like a lot of her problems were her own fault.
So it's just like who's gonna like root
I was
for
just
you?
like, oh, rap it, you're yapping.
Yeah.
But that
Yeah.
book was very, very smutty as well.
Yeah, I need to get back. I need to get into fiction. Like I that's the big thing that I have not really dove into is
Mhm.
fictional books. And I feel like that's like if you're talking about like creativity, that's where you should be.
My favorite author right now is V.E. Schwab.
E. Schwab.
Yeah, she is a very, very talented writer. I'm currently reading The Secret Life of Addie LaRue,
Mhm.
The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. Um, and that's a really good book. You should check it out. That's my recommendation for this podcast. Go
Okay.
read The Secret Life of Addie LaRue. It's basically about a girl who nobody can ever remember interacting with her.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, it's a very good book though.
Hmm. I'll have
I'm
to
like 100 pages in.
how many pages are like the books you read? Are like 200, 300 is like pretty average?
Around there, yeah.
Yeah. I got to start reading, dude. I feel stupid if I don't read. Like it genuinely like
It's good for your brain, dude.
yeah, I wanted to ask you if you're putting on socks and shoes, what's the exact order that you put them on? So you're barefoot and you need to put on both socks and both shoes. What's the
What kind
exact
of
order?
psycho is doing one sock, one shoe, sock, one shoe?
Shoe,
That's
sock.
yeah. Okay. I'm gonna tell you my entire routine, top to
Okay.
bottom. I just got out of the shower.
I'm getting dressed. Okay.
I'm getting dressed. Underwear,
Yup.
socks,
Yup.
pants,
Okay. I'm with you.
shirt,
Yeah.
jacket, shoes, and then auxiliaries.
Just an aux cord.
Yeah, yeah. I started carrying a tote bag recently. That's why I say that.
Wait, auxiliary or
Like a,
accessory?
I mean, fucking whatever. You know what I mean?
That's why I was like, wait, is there some new type of fashion tech
I
I'm
don't
missing
know.
out on?
Whatever, man.
Like, he's just cord management goes crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's a pretty straightforward question, but I'm trying to catch you in a weird habit. So that's why I
Uh-huh.
ask these questions. You just got to make sure you got to check on your friends sometimes.
It's always weird when you realize you have a weird habit. I always do the dishes before I start cleaning or before I start cooking. I mean,
Like in the morning? Oh, like in general, like when you
yeah,
eat. I do too.
yeah.
I feel like
Because
that's the
like
way to do it.
exactly, because otherwise, but my roommate doesn't. Like
Really?
she just piles dishes until our sink is completely full.
Oh,
And I'm just like, fucking why? Now we just have double the dishes and we have to do it all at once.
yeah. And that's
I always
annoying.
do and it's so fucking yeah, it's so annoying when you have like no space. That's the main reason I do it, just because I want more space to work with.
Mhm. I used to eat at a friend's house, and we we would eat dinner, and then we would have all of the dishes just like how your roommate does, and we'd have to do them all. And after doing that ever like so many times, I was just like, why don't we do them while we're cooking? Because there's a lull where the food's not done.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it takes like 5 minutes to do dishes, like max,
That
unless
is
you have a ton.
that's my fucking that's my Sisyphus mountain though. The fucking dishes.
You get frustrated during the
I'm
dishes.
always just like pushing that boulder up the hill, man. And it pisses like I'm thinking of the fucking dishes right now and it's making me angry.
That's your least favorite chore?
Dishes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine's gotta be laundry, and not because it's hard, it's because I literally have to set a timer, and that's annoying. Like, when they because if they sit in the dryer too long, you're just like, "Oh, I gotta put them back in a cycle, or I'm gonna have wrinkled fucking clothes."
Yeah, I just don't fucking yeah, I've just made my peace with the wrinkles to be honest.
Just a wrinkly guy.
Yeah, whatever.
I mean, your shirt looks nice.
It's pretty wrinkled if you
I
could see
just
it up
bought it.
close.
I only wear
Yeah.
brand new shirts.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I but like also just hanging shit.
Oh my god, that's so when you don't have enough hangers.
Yeah. What's like the smallest inconvenience that'll genuinely piss you off?
That's a great question. I'll sit on that. Do you know one?
Not finding my keys.
Really? I never have that problem.
Not finding my keys
Knock on wood.
will drive me crazy.
Your phone?
If well, because like the thing about that is like if I really, really need my phone, I'm gonna find it. Like, hey, can you call my phone?
Yeah.
Like that,
Can you call
but
my
I
keys?
can't do that with my keys.
Hey, can you call my keys?
Like sometimes I'll lose my keys and like it makes me want to like start ripping shit in half because I'm like, where the fuck I need them to drive.
Yeah, yeah. Why isn't that a thing? I mean, there probably is some info commercial that has like you can call your keys, but
Yeah,
like that should be more standardized.
I don't even have a key fob.
Really?
Nah,
Just keys?
just raw dogging the shit, man.
Yeah. I feel
My keys and my library card. That's all I got
nice.
on there.
Is that do you don't buy most of your books, or do you buy book? You're kind of like me where you like if you really like a book you'll buy it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But
Mhm.
at the beginning you'll just rent or check them
I
out.
haven't been to the libraries in a while, but like it's good to just get a library card because like one gives you something to do on a Saturday. Just go to the library. It's like
Mhm.
free.
Yeah.
Fucking you pay taxes for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
But also like they're just good resources. So I like to like just get one just so
Yeah.
like the gut because like I don't know like everything good in society the government's like do we really need this like why don't we just like make another military base instead you know
And
what I mean
charge 10 times for it. Yeah.
yeah go get a library card is basically what my message is.
That's a good message, honestly. We can start a little book club. That'd be fun.
Yeah, did you see that guy on Twitter who was getting fucking flamed because he likes working at the library or whatever?
No.
There was like one he's like the nicest guy. He's just like amped about libraries and he's got like a library card tattooed on him. And he's just he like works at the library and he's like, "Yeah, dude, the library's sick." And people on Twitter saw that guy and they were like, "I fucking hate this." Because Twitter's like where all happiness goes to die.
Yeah, there's no win. It's a lose-lose situation. Like
Yeah.
whether you're wholesome, whether you're toxic, whether you're in the middle.
Yeah. I almost feel like it's incentivized to be toxic on Twitter.
Oh yeah. Especially with the For You page now.
Yeah.
It's just like that's where the interactions are. That's where people are making money. Is controversial clicks. It's terrible.
Mhm. Just piss a bunch of people off and then suddenly you made $1 million. Thanks, Elon.
You know what my rule is for Twitter? I'll literally if I log onto it, I'll scroll until I see one negative thing. And once I see it, I'm off. That's my
Honestly,
rule.
that would happen way too fast for me.
It's great. That means I'm not on Twitter.
Yeah, good point.
Like the first time I see anything that I'm like, "Oh, like I understand the motive behind that tweet. Like it's obviously driving negative conversation." I'm
Uh-huh.
out.
The way algorithms like can influence like your whole life is
Mhm.
pretty dystopian.
Yeah.
Like you're constantly being inundated with so much.
YouTube does a decent job because look at what happened to Twitter with how
Yeah, but YouTube Shorts
oh yeah,
could be better.
short
YouTube
content is
Shorts
cooked. It's
Yeah.
terrible.
Schwartz is pretty bad right now.
Yeah, I'd rather watch a podcast.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up. That's episode 2 in the books.
Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you rate us on Spotify.
Hit us up on all the socials. Yeah, be a part of the conversation as well. Let us know what you think about all the bullshit we were talking about.
Peace.